contemplating the monoblock carburetors on this 2016 Triumph Thruxton R, I am reminded of an expression of a friend of mine who used to do stand-up comedy and had a bit about fake, augmented parts of female anatomy. Fake? If they're in the same room with you, they're real. And I find myself unable to tear my eyes away from these fake carbs. It's like in drama, the willful suspension of disbelief. I should be offended that a pair of covers shaped like 389 seconds shield us from seeing the horrors of the truth and reality of ride-by-wire IFI and the magic that allows this bike to run so great. I should be pissed that there aren't even any fake throttle cables going into the tops of the carbs. But then again, don't builders always try to hide the cables anyway? The bottom line is that even ugly motorcycles don't ignore design. And I haven't found anything at all ugly on the Thruxton R, which nails the retro sport bike cafe vibe all the way down to its carbs. The polished alloy top triple clamp, the aluminum strap holding the fuel tank, the suede Y-seat with red stitching, the conical rear hub. Under that pretty quick release alloy gas cap is a locking black plastic screw-off unit. Mix it all up with killer modern suspension, a sublime fully adjustable show, a big piston fork and a pair of adjustable Öhlins shocks, Brembo brakes, and freaking Pirelli Diablo Super Corsa tires on those wire spoke alloy rims, and you have a mashup of new and old that works exceptionally well. And at least the Brembo monoblock calipers are real. Recent extensive seat time testing the new Norton Commando 961 makes it impossible not to bring up here. Pretty much everything that is the Thruxton R is what the Commando would like to be. There is an airiness to the presence of the Commando that the Thruxton doesn't have, but the rest of the Triumph's package is sweet, indeed. For some reason, the power character of motorcycles often finds expression in my mind through liking to the character of different cuts of meat. My Yamaha WR250R is like a spicy chicken breast, my old single-quote 58 Triumph Trophy was a lamb shank, and my Norton 850 Commando is a lot like a thick-cut filet, bone-in. The Thruxton R expresses itself like a perfectly cooked entire beef tenderloin. It's tender and loose and carries a density and flavor that's satisfied from first bite to last. But it also feels ever so slightly too dense. Okay, I'm riding off to the pub. The 97.6x 80mm, 1197cc parallel twin actually has pretty weird power delivery for a sporto bike like this, with 87.4 horsepower at 6,750 RPM and 75 pound-feet of torque at 3,730 RPM. In terms of power, you are living in the now. Whatever the revs, staying under the 7,100 RPM redline, it's turn throttle, go. But when I was tucked in and arching toward the exit of a corner, I did want a bit more top-end zing. We took the opportunity to spin a bunch of laps on the Triumph at Buttonville Raceway and were impressed overall. Assistant editor Will Steenrod said, "Holy torque. It hits peak torque right away and can carry a wheelie for the whole rev range." But he also noted that when fuel sloshed in the tank under heavy braking or a deep lean, the fuel pump was sucking air and causing the engine to stutter at the worst possible instant, something we'll have to look into a bit more. But this was isolated 100% to the track. I personally wish for a 360-degree crankshaft, because I love the sound of a classic British twin, but it's impossible to argue with the eponymous exhaust note provided by the 270-degree crank. The sound is sort of the modern British expression of the retro Ducati Sport Classic sound, with, to extend the food analogy, lots of rich gravy. Somehow the Thruxton manages to be all the things it wants to be without feeling forced. And let me tell you, if it's on the same road as you, it is most definitely real.